What up, everybody? We're live.
What up?
Talking about somebody who's not on mute.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
We doing what we do. I'm sleepy. I need a nap.
It was not my idea to go live at 6 p.m. It was yours.
No, you had stuff to do.
Read the intro. Let's get it.
I'm sleepy today, so I'm gonna have to use my little trusty,
Lord.
prompty.
Oh, Lord.
Welcome to another episode of We're Gonna Have Words, where we discuss, debate, explore, and sometimes argue topics on life, love, relationships, and family. I'm your host, Mandy, along with my husband.
E-dub. What up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? So coming off this Easter break, I guess you could say. Hope everybody had a good Easter.
Yeah.
What's going on in the world?
Yeah. Welcome back. Spring break for some people in different parts of the country.
Yes, the end for some of them. They about to go back to school.
Kids are back to school on Monday. Whatever back to school means for you, whether that's in class or all the way virtual. It depends. Shout out to Flonase. I need to tag them. We need to tag them in this. Because
for helping you through your allergy
for helping
season.
me through my allergy season, because I don't know what's in that spray, the little two things that you do up your nostril. I don't know what's in there, but it's awesome. Okay, we need to tag Flonase. Flonase, holla at us for sponsorship. Holla at us, Flonase, or
I think
whatever.
My allergy meds had me a little.
Or whatever company owns Flonase. Either way,
I'm not.
Holla at us.
I'm not certain.
Holla at us.
Yeah. So I don't know. I might be a little drowsy because of my allergy med. Just a little bit.
Oh, before we get started, prayers up to the family DMX.
Yeah.
Okay, we grew up in that era, so we can't start our podcast and go into this without,
Yeah.
DMX, you know what I mean, passed away unfortunately at such a young age. And I'm really only bringing it up because he was only 50.
Yeah, he's very young.
Yes, and I'm approaching that age. Now, of course, there were other circumstances involved, but 50 is still young.
Yeah,
so,
it's still young.
I'll be there soon. And so, you really get to thinking about things when you see people passing away at a young age. It's like, man, you still have so much life left ahead of you, so many more things to see. Prayers for his kids and his family and all of that. What he did before or what he went through doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It might matter to some, but it doesn't matter to us. I enjoyed his music. I enjoyed his movies. You know what I mean? So, which is really interesting because today I was in a barbershop and we had a whole argument about what was his best movie.
DMX best
yes, movie? A whole argument. I'm not talking about a discussion, a real deal argument about DMX's best movie.
Okay, what was yours and what was everyone else?
Okay, so the consensus was Belly was his best movie. Okay, but he was in some other movies. He was in Romeo Must Die, but he wasn't in that movie for long. Never Die Alone, Cradle to the Grave. Okay,
I've forgotten about all those movies.
You forgot about that, but he was in some movies though. Belly was it was what it was at the time that it came out, right? Yeah. But if you went back to watch it now, you'd be like, that movie was terrible. But he was in some good movies. I thought Cradle to the Grave was a good movie. Never Die Alone was a little different, but I thought that was a good movie too. Exit Wounds. Yeah, I forgot Exit Wounds.
Belly sucks.
Belly is not a well acted movie, but for the time when it came out, Nas was in the movie. He's never been in another movie for good reason. AZ, and there's a couple of things in the movie that if you remember it, might be some quotable stuff if you were into it at that time. But it was. I'm not going to watch Belly tonight. You know what I'm saying? I might watch Romeo Must Die. He's not even in that movie that long. He's not a main character.
What movie's your favorite?
Probably Cradle to the Grave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I probably watch that. Okay. Yeah, definitely. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the families and everything. Hope everybody's out there staying safe, being safe. And let's get into it. What's our topic today, my love?
Spousal support, but
Uh
not
oh.
none of the
Oh.
alimony sense though.
Oh yeah, we're not talking about Dr. Dre and his estranged ex-wife. We're not talking about that kind of spousal
No,
support,
yeah.
which
What?
is a whole nother podcast. How much money she was asking for.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So what we're talking about is how you support your spouse, basically.
Hmm.
Different ways. We're going to talk about the ambitions and dreams and emotional support. I also want to talk about this kite string slash rock theory. There's a do you know about that theory?
I'm just gonna sit back and listen today.
Oh well, there's this theory that no, you're not. Contribute, sir. Um, there's this theory that there has to be a kite and there has to be a string, rock, anchor, whichever you want to call it, in a relationship, because otherwise, it's not going to work out. I personally disagree, um, because I feel like we have both been the kite, we have both been the string at some point. You know, if you look at it like the kite as the ambitious one, the one that's going after their dreams and their goals, and the string or the rock being the one that holds the stuff down at home, or being kind of like the secondary person, if you will, to be the support. That makes sense. So
It makes
like
sense.
so like for you, like in your military career, I would have been the the string and you would have been the kite because you're going after your dreams. I, as a military spouse, um, sacrificed and put a lot of my um, endeavors kind of like on hold because it's just moving around so much. So, and then just kind of keeping everything moving smoothly while
Hmm.
you were out doing what you had to do on these tours and making chief and all that other stuff.
You know, I'm not a big fan of those kind of, what's the word, descriptions of things. You know, kite strings, rock, and
It's just a symbolism. It's just to
you
kind of
know.
summarize it.
I understand, but I personally am not a fan of those kinds of things. I
What
because
are you a fan of?
I'm a fan of you. Um,
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Um, yeah, I'm not a really big fan of those types of descriptions. I think it's easy to want to take a whole group and pop them into a certain thing. And I guess some people need symbolism, right? Or an analogy when they're explaining things to other people that's going on in their relationship,
Uh,
right?
yeah.
Um, but I think it comes down to something as simple as we're partners. You know what I mean? I don't know if I need to
Call yourself a
describe
string or
things
a
to call
kite.
myself a kite or a string,
Right.
right?
I mean, but there are certain, like I said, there's certain theories that, people say, oh, there has to be one or the other. Like
Mhm,
there's a calm person and a rah-rah person in a relationship.
mhm,
I'm like, couldn't it be that sometimes you're rah-rah, sometimes I'm calm, and then you're calm and then I'm rah-rah? Can't we just support each other? And that's why I said I
mhm,
disagree, because I feel like the roles have switched, the dynamic has switched for us
mhm.
before in many different areas. You're not the only one that's strong, you know what I mean? And I think that's a misconception, is that men always have to be the rock or the anchor,
Mhm.
the one that's strong, the one that's holding everything down. And and sometimes women can be that too.
You got some stuff on your mind you need to get off your.
What you mean?
I don't know. You sound like you got something inside you need to get off your chest right now.
No, it's just that those terms, the rock, the anchor, are so masculine. So
Mm,
sometimes they're kind of pushed on men, and it's like, you know, sometimes we have to let our men rely on us ladies to be supportive that way. Like, I'm not looking at you like, oh, you know whatever you're going through, suck it up, because I need some support right now. You know what I
so
mean?
okay, so I'll say there's two ways to look at this. Um, to being in the military and being gone on deployment and leaving, I don't want to say leaving behind, but um, your wife is at home or your spouse's girlfriend, whatever, and you have a child or something like that. That is a very difficult predicament to be in. And occasionally, as the person that's gone, we'll say that we are the ones making the sacrifice, which we are to a certain extent. There is sacrifice within being on deployment and being out in the
Yeah,
middle
of
of the
course.
ocean
Yeah.
and being around people that 90% of them you don't like
Mhm.
and would not be around under any other circumstance.
Mhm. Mhm.
So definitely, but I think it depends on what the circumstance that you leave,
Right.
right? Because if you're a new relationship and the husband or the wife, because there's men and women serving in the military, obviously, leaves behind, leaves, depending on what the situation is and what they're doing, things can be easy or difficult. Okay, for you, the last time I went on the long deployment, my son was very young.
Yes. It's a toddler.
Um, right. And so that is very, very difficult, even with both of us around.
Right.
You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
be running behind a toddler and making sure everything gets done the way it
Exactly.
needs to get done.
Yeah.
But what happens, I think, is at some point during the time away or the separation, one spouse believes that they need more support than the other.
Well, yeah, it's a selfish motivation.
Right. It gets to, hey, I've been out here for 4 or 5 months and we're not coming back for another 4 or 5 months. So every time I call you, you should answer the phone. Every time I send you an email, I should get a response really fast. Every time I pull in the port and call you, I expect you to respond to me
Be available.
or
Hmm.
right or answer a text. Yeah, I know I'm 10 hours ahead of you. Doesn't matter. Wake up.
Well, I don't,
You know what
and
I'm
I don't
saying?
think those things are
And
necessarily vocalized. I just
mhm,
think it's an internal expectation, and the same goes the other way. I think both parties get caught up. I mean, it's human nature.
mhm.
I think you just get caught up in, the whatever it is that you're going through. You're feeling away, so you can't see the other person's. And that's where I believe that grace comes in, because if you stop and you think, okay, well, I have the luxury, for instance, for me, I have the luxury of being in the comfort of our own home. You know what I mean? Going to bed in this big bed, and but you're sleeping in the smaller space, you know what I mean? Dealing with people, having to be around people all the time, basically, not having a moment alone, where I then could have been like, well, I'm here with the kid all the time. But, you know, just a point of,
So let's take the military out of it for a second. Let's just
hmm
talk about present day, okay, and support
hmm
because the military is long behind
us,
us. It's
yes.
long behind us. So let's talk about day to day support and what do you feel you need and whether or not those needs are being met, and are you verbalizing those needs, and when you do verbalize the things that you need, are they being responded to, is action being taken, okay?
hmm
And so you can talk about how it's changed over the years because we don't have the military anymore, but let's just jump more into 2021 and talk about where we are now and how things are going with the present circumstance of the pandemic and all these other things that's happening to everyone. Let's talk about that.
You want me to?
Yeah, you go first.
I mean, that was a very broad question, though. I mean, like, how is it going now in comparison to how it used to be?
Well, no, what
Oh,
I'm directly
it's we don't have that much time. Okay.
what I'm directly asking is present day, how do you feel I'm doing as far as support?
I think you're doing well.
Okay.
I mean, this is one of those things that I feel like it's not something that you could just check off a box and be like, oh,
Mhm.
that's done. It's a continuous thing that you have to work on. One, because you're dealing with a whole other person, and that person has to share those feelings. So, like, for example, if you say you're feeling underappreciated, I want to know why. And you have to know why you feel that way or what I can do to make you feel more appreciated, for instance. Because without that kind of conversation, I'm never to learn. One, you're never to learn about yourself if you don't take the time to ask yourself what it is that you need. And then I'll never learn because you won't be able to tell me. And every time it's like I'll be shooting, random, trying to figure out what it is that hits. You know what I mean? Let me
Mhm.
try this. Let me try that. Let me try this. It's like hit or miss if the person doesn't know what it is that they need.
So let's talk about specifically this podcast
Mm-hmm.
and the genesis of the podcast and my support in regard to you and wanting to start the podcast and where we are now.
Oh, it took you so long. No, well, yeah, I've been saying we should do a podcast for a good while now.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I just kept saying it. I think that, that people would enjoy it, that we have this kind of banter that, and you would be like,
Would you say that
mm.
I was very unsupportive in the beginning?
um, I wouldn't say unsupportive in the sense that you would be dismissive or insulting about it, like not that far, but it would just be like, like just like a fleeting thought. Like you would just hear me and I would say, oh, let's just, yeah, maybe,
So,
hmm,
see, okay,
hmm.
but here's what happens.
Ah.
Be truthful about a part of it is that you said to me, "Oh, this is in my spirit." This is what you said. These are the words that you used. And so what happens in a relationship, the minute a person says they have a feeling about a thing or something is in their spirit, okay? If it's not in my spirit, okay, am I
Mm-hmm.
wrong for not jumping on board right away to say, okay, I'll do it with you, or let's do it, or not having lengthy conversation about it just because it's something that you're thinking about and you're feeling, but I'm not necessarily into? Because that happens all the time, I believe, in relationships. In marriages, one person has
No,
an
but
idea, thought about
you
something,
never
and
said, nah, no,
what
not
did I
really.
say?
You were like, hmm. And that was just about it. It was like it wasn't a hell no, and it
Mhm.
wasn't even a no. It was like, yeah.
But do you feel that I was giving you the support that you needed in the beginning, though?
I feel like you could have um no, I think you were interested, but I
Mhm.
I do a lot of the legwork, so I know that you probably feel like you're just a section
Mhm.
of the spirited calling. Um I just don't think that I think we had to have conversations about what I had in mind for it and about what it meant for me
Mhm.
and how you could contribute. Does that make sense?
See, I think sometimes I'm gonna get off topic, then I'm gonna bring it back. I think sometimes people, when they're trying to get the other person to think about something, they can be very um, not convincing, but manipulating a little bit in the words that they use to try to get their spouse to get on board with something that they're trying to do. Let's take, for instance,
I was
the
manipulative.
phrase "in my spirit." Okay. Um, yes, right. So if your partner says
Let's put that
it's
up.
in my spirit, right?
Yes, you got to jump on that support
And
whenever your
then,
partner got something in their
but then,
spirit.
but if it's not in my spirit, it doesn't make me wrong for not hopping right on board.
No, but you
Okay.
don't have to because it's not like, oh, it's in my spirit, so I expect for it to be in your spirit.
Mhm,
It's just like in my spirit is saying that I feel strongly about this.
mhm.
Now, I mean,
But so should you. I feel strongly about this. So as my partner,
no, it's
you should
important.
feel strongly about it
It's
as well.
important to me, so it should be also important to
That
you.
see, that's the part though. That's the part that I'm talking about one person feeling a way about something and having something saying that they're in your spirit, which to me is a little, you know,
But I'm not
it's a
being
little,
manipulative whenever I say that. I'm actually saying that.
maybe you're
Cuz this
not
this
being
whole this whole
manipulative.
thing, I mean, we've had this conversation, but for you guys, I'll say this whole thing, me being in front of a camera, me talking about our personal business, that kind of thing, kind of almost being like a little bit of an open book to the public. I'm not a social media person. I don't do a lot of selfies and stuff like that. So if you're on any of my personal like Facebook, or if you're on IG, this is new to me. Like I don't take pictures of myself. I don't like to be in pictures. This is a yeah, this is an uncomfortable thing for me, but I feel like this is what we should be doing. I feel like there's some things that we were not told that could have better equipped us to avoid some of these trivial type arguments and challenges that that some people that actually currently going through it that wasn't told by their elders either. It's just some things that you're not alone. You're going to go through this and you can actually work it out, and that's the point.
You get off topic. Back to what I was saying.
But I'm saying that's the call though. That's the call.
Back to what I was saying. Okay, because you circling around, but you're not getting to it, right? Fellas, and I'm talking to the fellas. If your wife comes to you and says, I have a feeling about this, I feel this way, it is incumbent on you in that moment to take action. If your wife says to you, oh, this is in my spirit, then you are expected to then have it in your spirit too and show full support to your spouse, even if you're not into it, because you know you're going to get in trouble. But your wife also knows what she can say to you and how to say it to you to get action, because she knows you don't want to get in no argument. Is that not the truth? Words matter.
Like you're promoting like manipulation. Like men look at how your wives manipulate you instead of this is how you support your spouse.
No, we gotta talk about what's real. You understand what I'm saying?
So basically, you're telling me and the world right now that you feel like I have manipulated you into doing this podcast.
No, I feel like at some point in our marriage, you have used trigger phrases and words to get me to do what it is you wanted me to do, which falls under support.
No.
That's what I believe.
Fake it till you make it.
This is what I believe. Because here's the thing, right? You say to me, we're not talking about the podcast, but you say to me something's in your spirit. Babe, you come to me, you say, babe, I've been thinking about this. It's been on me for the last couple of weeks. I don't know what it is, but it's
so what you're saying is all I got to do is tell you it's in my spirit and you'll do it?
Oh, I'm getting there. And it's in my
Good to know.
spirit.
Wasn't manipulating you before, but now I will.
And I need you, baby. I need you to be on it with me like this. So, okay, wife, I got you. I'm going to be there. Even if I'm not necessarily 100% on board, I'm going to be there for you. But I can't come to you and say, oh, wife, it's been in my spirit all day. We need to go upstairs right now and have sex. You not about to be like, okay, it was in your spirit, so let's go do it. Don't make up your face. Don't make up your face.
Always come to that.
I'm trying to make a point. Don't make up your face. I'm just saying to you, there are certain things that wives say to husbands to get responses. And if you don't respond, then your spouse can say, oh, you're not supporting me in my endeavor, whatever that thing is. That's the point I'm trying to make. I went to sex because I was trying to make a point.
And that's not.
Am I wrong?
Apples to oranges? That doesn't make any sense.
Nope. Yes, it makes absolute sense.
No, because sex is that's not part of this support in the sense of.
I use sex to make the point that I came to you and I led with something was in my spirit. That's what I'm talking about.
But have I ever come to you about something and said and cloaked it with it's in my spirit just to get something from you?
I don't know. Have you?
No.
Speaketh the truth that will set you free this evening. Hallelujah.
No, you gonna want it by yourself.
I'm not going to hell. Let's get back on topic now.
You get back on topic.
Okay. So
you felt like I manipulated you into doing this podcast.
I never said that.
So, y'all hear it. Y'all hearing it today.
I didn't say that.
But from what you're saying, though, you're saying that as soon as I said that, then now that turns into something.
Nope.
Like it's an expectation. You could have been, but at no point were you like, babe, I just don't want to do that. You didn't say that.
Because that's not what happened. I'm talking about wives and husbands. I'm sure we do it too.
You just called out the fellas and you was like, your wife will say things in a particular way to get you to do something.
But I don't want to fight with you later. So I'm bringing the fellas.
Okay, so all right. So communication 101, right? You want to be careful of the words that you use to be able to actually get something from your significant other, that being an argument or for them to listen. and you just chose the wrong word, sir. Basically, what I'm hearing,
Scared.
what I'm hearing is that you think that I manipulated you.
That's not what I said. See, you're hearing something I didn't actually say. Back to supporting your spouse. So where were we? We were
How are
talking about
you supporting me?
how am I supporting you?
Yeah, how are
In
you
what way?
supporting?
In life in general, or just
No, this podcast.
oh, this podcast?
Since you don't really want to be on here, I'm handing him his pink slip right after this.
Oh, you?
Mhm.
I'm an at-will employee. You're letting me go.
Yep. You just basically told your boss you didn't want to be here no more.
So
that you was manipulated into this position.
the next live will be called "I'm Gonna Have Words."
No, it's still gonna be
No,
we.
it can't be we if there's not two of us.
It'd be me and my audience.
No, it's we're gonna have words
me and my
with the audience.
We gonna have words, and that can mean different things. We can discuss, debate, and explore all topics on life, love, relationships, and family. I'm your host, Mandy. Let's get the conversation started. Since you don't want to be a part of
I
this,
sue. Try to fire me. I sue.
I ain't got shit.
I will take you to civil court. One of them judges on TV will hear my case.
Well,
and,
yeah. And what's it
right.
going? I order $40 to.
That's right. That's right. One of the judges is gonna hear our case.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have words. It's gonna be on TV soon on one of the judge shows. Y'all be on the lookout. We'll let y'all know when it's coming up.
Stop telling those lies. Before they actually
Try.
like that we were writing like, what show is it, Judge Judy?
Try to fire me.
Whatever.
So let's get back. Let's get back to it real quick. So let's talk about dreams. Since we're talking about support, let's talk about dream support.
I've got dreams
about having ideas.
Dreams to
I'm sorry, it's the music moment.
I've got dreams to remember. All right, sorry, I had to throw a little Otis in there for you.
Are you done?
No. Dreams to remember. Okay, sorry.
This has been the musical interlude by Mandy. Back to the show.
I like it.
Since we're talking about dreams and supporting what we want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say your partner has a dream, wild and crazy. Okay. They want to go build something or own something. Okay. Let's talk about that and how your spouse can have a dream or multiple dreams, okay, of things that they want to do and accomplish, and whether or not, as crazy as they may sound, your partner should support you, or should your partner be the voice of reason to say, okay, pump your brakes a little bit. This is not the move. We need to sit down and figure out something else. Or should it be, okay, babe, go crazy?
I think that there should be a delicate approach to, dream killing.
Mm-hmm.
You like to dream kill.
I do?
Yeah.
I saw that face. I am not a dream killer.
Anyways,
I think women can be dream killers for real. Because I think sometimes women, in the spirit of being honest, will kill a dream.
I think that the dream killing and the voice of reason, that whole thing is a miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what happens is when the spouse with the dream comes speaking to the other spouse about the dream, they're not clear of what role they need for them to fill at that moment. So you have, oh, I just want you to be supportive of me like you have before. And then there's that, oh, I need for you to be the rational minded person, or, or that kind of balance, you know what I mean? Because it's not like just totally like, I don't even know what other way to say this. So we're going to have to explicit this, just shit on someone else's dream. You know what I mean? There's a way to be like, okay, so let's find out how. Let's see where, the business aspect of it. Like if oh, babe, I have this dream of selling rocks. Okay, so let's see if there's a market out there for people buying rocks. Like,
that's a good job. It's landscaping.
That's what you think, but what if they just talking about colored rocks? You know what I mean? If you're talking about landscaping, there's a need for that.
Mhm.
But that's what I'm saying. So you have this. So you're thinking, oh yeah, landscaping. But if I say no, these glitter rocks, I want to sell.
On Etsy.
But whatever, you know what I mean? You're gonna be like, people buying glitter rocks? Is that
Mm.
what they're doing? Something like that. You could like, hey, well, wow. So you like coloring rocks, babe. I get it. So how can we put this into something that would actually be something that can make you money, or and it doesn't necessarily have to be ambitions that are monetary. What if it's just like, I want to go climb a mountain somewhere? You might be like, you go up in the snowy mountains if you want to. I'm gonna be right here
Yeah,
holding your water.
right. I think there's different dreams that a person can have. One of them could be monetary, wanting to open up your own business
Mm-hmm.
or something, to stop working in corporate America and go open up your own business. There's been many stories of people that have
Mm-hmm.
actually gone on and done that very thing. But you definitely have to have a plan. You have to communicate to your spouse what it is you're trying to do. Because if I came to you Monday morning, I woke up and said, you know what? To hell with such and such and such and such. I'm not going to work today. And
Yeah,
you
that
would
would be.
say, okay, babe, what you gonna do? I said, I don't know. I just know I didn't want to go to work today. I'm gonna open up my own logistics business. Okay, cool. What's the rest? You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah, it
I've
depends.
actually had thoughts
In that
about.
scenario, is the other significant other making is the other significant other making enough to sustain
Mhm.
the your current situation. So it's like, if it's like, all right, we have enough and you could hold it down for us, and we might take a little sacrifice, a little, uh kind of pulling back on some of the entertainment or whatever these excessive you know non-necessity type of indulgences, then maybe that's a conversation. But it depends on your situation. So if one spouse is working and one's not, and the other spouse is like, hey, I'm gonna, that might not be a good, because how you gonna eat, right?
If I say I want to be a professional rock climber, you gonna jump on board with that? Mm,
No, I'm
crickets.
saying that you can do whatever you set your mind to,
Hmm.
just don't quit your day job yet.
Hmm.
So rock climb on your days off.
So see, if you when you're talking about things that don't necessarily have to do with money, I think that's an easier sell, right? But there aren't many things that you might want to do that don't involve some kind of financial um, attachment
Investment,
to it,
yeah.
investment to it,
Well,
right?
yeah, there's some investment that you won't necessarily get back on certain things, but
Hmm.
then there's the investment that has a turnaround, a return, if you will. So in those cases, I think that if it's like, I just don't think it's great for a spouse to be a dream crusher. Like,
Hmm.
hear the other person out. Understanding that one is more of a dreamer than the other, and that both could be dreamers. But, if just hear the other person out and try to be supportive, and also being that voice of reason, but only doing so whenever you understand what it is that person is looking for in that moment. Because there have been times where we've even had these discussions where I'm like, hey babe, I need a brain to bounce off of. And then you'll go into like Mr. I don't know what is fix it mode, or
Want to take over?
you want to tell me what to do
I
mode.
knew that was coming. Uh
Yo, he's
huh.
always trying to tell me what to do.
I knew that was. Yeah, go
And
ahead,
then
speak on
and
it.
then and then and then you be like, I think you should do this. And it's like, I'm not even talking about that right now. I'm talking about this main thing. And what you think about this?
Mhm.
Bounce back kind of thing.
Are you saying I try to take stuff over?
Hmm?
Are you saying I try to take stuff over?
No, I'm saying sometimes you try to tell me what to
Mm.
do.
So where would you say that particular thing falls into the subject of supporting one's spouse, where you come to me
You
with a
jumped
grand
into
idea.
rationale mode. You jumped into let
Okay.
me be the rational one. Let me, give it to you straight. Kind of. That's not what I was looking for. I'm not looking for like a wake up call
Mhm.
or oh, I need some guidance on this or some. It was you came from a business aspect instead of my husband aspect,
Mm,
where it's like,
mhm.
hey, you know, um, how do I even say that? Hmm. So I was going to my husband, right? Because even though like I have the design marketing background, it's really hard for me to talk about myself. So I was going to my husband with like, how do I say this? Because it's just weird for me to like, I don't know. That whole tell us about yourself where you're just talking positive about yourself. Yes, it's just real uncomfortable for me. Anyways, so I'm looking for the man that knows me the best to be like, oh, these are the great attributes about you, and maybe you should hone in on this because you're really good at that. And I'm playing with some ideas. He's like, well, you gotta take some pictures. You gotta take pictures. You gotta take some video. And I'm
Well,
like, dude,
see
I know that
that.
I know that. I already have the education for that. I'm saying as far as what it is that personality wise.
See, that is my
Smile
military.
in your pictures.
That is my military mind that comes in when a person
I'm
comes
not
to you.
asking you to be chief.
I understand, but a person comes to you and say, "We need to do X." So automatically, the way my brain is wired is to go into, okay, let's do A, B, and C so we can get this done, get it done quickly so we can move on to the next thing. That's kind of what happens in my brain. Sometimes when you come to me with things, I go into,
Fix it mode.
I don't know if fix it is the
It
right way,
is all problem solving, fix it mode.
but is that a bad attribute to have?
Mm-mm. It's not a bad attribute to have, but it's not helpful whenever I'm what I was trying to hone in on is that hey, you tell me a little bit about
Mhm,
myself, qualities where I can just like focus in on where I'm just shooting out ideas to you about me
mhm.
and you're like, yeah, or you're really good at this or try this, that kind of thing. You just I don't know what
So,
it was.
so how do you figure out when to just listen and when to give creative input?
Well, you just ask. But
Okay.
I specifically said I need help doing this.
Mhm.
And then he was like, well, you gotta do some videos. You gotta take more pictures. Smile in your pictures, babe. Not every post requires a smile, sweetheart. I like it when you smile in your pictures.
Why are you making me sound like a
I like
75-year-old
it when you smile in your
dude
pictures.
named
You need to
Clarence?
take more pictures and
I
more
don't
video.
understand why I don't sound
You
like that.
gotta be on it every day. I know it's uncomfortable for you, but you gotta do it.
What year is it?
You're
Why are you making
preaching
my
at
voice
me.
sound like that?
You're preaching at me though.
I wasn't preaching at you. I
Yeah, you
was
were. You was
just,
trying to tell me what to do
I went
again.
into that mode of, but see, here's the thing about you. If I was to say, okay, so one of the things that we did a lot in the military was painting. Okay. Not because we wanted to go paint something, we were made to go
Okay.
paint something. So I know how to paint. I know you don't think I do, but I know how to paint. So I say, hey, babe, you know what? I want to go paint things. I want to paint houses or, start a business. And this is what I want to do. I want to go paint, right? Little
Mm-hmm.
side income. Keep the
I'm
regular
like, okay.
job. Okay. But let's do this on the side.
Mm-hmm.
We can make a little
You want me to
money,
be do it
this
with you?
kind of thing. To paint with me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you look good in some little almost see-through coveralls. Anyway, so I say to you, I want to go paint, right? And you say, okay, babe, let's do it. But I don't have a plan. I just know this is what I want to do. The first thing you would say is, babe, you sure you still know how to paint? Because this stuff that need painting in here, you ain't painted nothing yet. Are you sure a paint business is what it is you want to go do? That's what you would say initially.
No, I'm saying I would be curious about what brought it about
Mhm.
because I like like that one time we was painting your mom's mantle and I was like, do you know what you're doing? Because if you mess
See,
it up, you're gonna
that's
she gonna be
skepticism.
so
I
mad
don't like
and you
that
got so offended.
skepticism.
Now, how long were we
I was
together?
offended.
How long we were together at that point? I never seen you paint anything.
I was very offended because she dated
I,
my painting skills.
I what?
You doubted my painting
Oh,
skills.
okay, okay. Yes, I doubted. I surely did
I
because
was
I was
very
like,
upset.
I've never seen you paint anything. You were so offended though.
I
You was like,
was.
you know, I'm not paint. I'm military. And I was like, what? I never seen you paint anything. All of a sudden, you're painting your mom's mantle, and I'm like, ooh, don't you mess that up.
And I did not mess it up.
I was concerned,
It
y'all.
was
I was
wonderful.
concerned. I was concerned. That's some realness. I was concerned.
There's a lot of things you learn how to do in the military, not because you want to do them. It kind of just happens. Painting, waxing floors, laying tile,
Yes, but I've never been on the
things
boat
like
with
that.
you when you were painting, so I
I'm just
wouldn't have
saying I know
known
how
that
to
you know
do
how
it.
to paint. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Because so some people are good with their hands and learn a skill in the military can and transition into that skill after, whether it's just on the side or that's their primary job. You know what I mean?
Right.
They go be mechanics or technicians and fix things and stuff like that. And that's not, I worked in logistics and inventory and things like that.
Right.
So I would, be looking to open up my own logistics company or transportation company or something like that to move product because everybody's going to need product.
Okay.
Okay. So that's something more what I know how to do that I would
Mhm.
try to transition into doing. I
Mhm.
wouldn't just jump out and say, oh, this thing is hot right now, so I want to go do X just
Well,
because it's what
yeah.
everybody's doing.
Not a trend. No.
Right. So,
Mhm.
but there are people that may have had one kind of particular job and then something was like a hobby or something like that. And then
They
they want
switched.
to switch and go jump into something else. And so
Mhm.
that's a big dream. And so, your spouse in that particular case would say, hey, this
Mm.
is not what you did for all these years. Are you sure this is something you want to do? But in that moment, the person has already ran through all these things in their head and they've gotten to the point where they've gotten the courage to say, this
I
is what
want
I
to
want to
do it.
do.
Right.
I'm coming to my spouse
Yes.
to tell them, even though if I don't have the picture completely painted all the way, coming to my spouse and saying to them, this is my dream. This is the next um me, right? This is next
Mhm.
iteration of my evolution into what I want to do and what I want to be. And this thing is going to get us out of the situation we're in and into something better. And the first thing their spouse says is, oh no, you sure that's your thing right there?
Mm.
You immediately kill someone's spirit in that moment.
You're a dream crusher.
You might be able
Dream
to
killer.
right, you might be able to come back from it, but in the moment that it happens, you could be affecting how a person feels or thinks about it. They could either shut it down, say, oh well, maybe I shouldn't do it, okay, or go the opposite
Yeah, but I
direction.
don't think. But see, that's the thing. Like, I don't think
Hold on,
that.
right? Or
Mhm.
before you go,
Mhm.
or go in the opposite direction and say, oh, I'm just going to strike out and go do this thing on my own, okay, and
Mhm.
then you're not involving your spouse in
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
it is you're trying to do. And now,
Mhm.
so now you guys are, instead of
Separate.
coming this way, you're going that way.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think that is some, you even sometimes when you have that communication and you're coming to to your spouse and telling them about it, you can still have those instances of what you call it, dream killing,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Dream crushing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I think that there should be and the first go is support. I mean, I understand if it seems like something outside of character, outside, then inquire and but be supportive even in your inquiry. Just to be like, what you never did, condescending. It's not the way to go. You should be, oh, where, that's interesting. I never thought you painted rocks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, yeah, we're still here. Yes, we still on. Uh, so anyway, yeah, so there's I think you can talk to your significant other and let them know what you need.
Mm-hmm.
So there are instances sometimes where, like for us, even when I ask the direct question and you kind of go in your default mode, um where you want to do the troubleshoot thing, and then I have to one pull back and remind myself that's where you go, that's your first place that you go.
Right.
So I need to be like, hey babe, I need this from you. I need I need for you to hear me and help me with this. And have the patience and the grace, knowing that you are a problem solver, that you want to solve the problem.
Mm.
Um, and that comes with communication, because even on if like you came, like let's say before your mom before you painted your mom's mantle and you came to me about a painting business, I would have been like, oh wow, I didn't know you knew how to paint.
Mm.
I think I would be shocked with that, but I would be intrigued. But that's me. I know that some people are not so open minded to their spouse's ambitions or dreams or whatever things that seem, because I'm a creative person, because I consider myself a dreamer. What would you say?
If you're a dreamer or not,
Yeah,
um,
a little bit of both.
I don't know if I would use that word. I don't know if I would say you're a dreamer. I think that you are a person that has interest in many different things.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that of the different things that you have interest in that you would want to go and do those things specifically.
What do you mean? Like
Meaning you
painting?
like to paint,
Yeah,
but you
that's
do
fun
it
for
as a
me.
part of right. Like it's
Yeah.
zen. You get to relax and just go into your own
I mean, if
space
y'all interested in
and
buying them, I'll sell them to you.
yeah, you go into your own
But
space and just relax and think,
yeah.
maybe listen to some music, and you do that. And I don't have a hobby. Okay, so
Oh no. Why?
I don't do those things. And of course, you also have to know what kind of person that you're in a relationship with, because some
Yes.
people are dreamers,
Right.
and some people will go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And if a couple of those things don't pan out the way that they wanted to, especially if you have some kind of financial investment in it, you might be a little bit hesitant to keep going down that road
Yes.
with your um,
Dreamer.
dreamer, right? You be like, hey, babe, the last 6 times I was with you, eh, do we need number 7 to show that this is not working? Maybe we need to figure something else out.
Yeah.
But the dreamer is going to be saying, I know the last 6 times it didn't work out, but I'm telling you, number 7 is the one.
Right.
I learned, I made my mistakes. I'm good now. This is the one that's going to set us off on the path to being something
Right.
brand new and different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so, do you still support in that place, or do you just say, you know what, leave me out of it, go do what you're going to do, I'm not messing with you this time?
No, I don't even think there's a leave me out of it. I mean,
Mm.
I think if it's like one of those get rich quick kind of things, and there's money that has to be invested, and you're constantly putting, the situation in a hole monetarily speaking, then I can see the hesitance in that. Um, but no, I don't. I think it has to be a joint thing, because otherwise you have to have at least some support. Like maybe it's like, let's say if I wanted to do the podcast, right, and it was just me by myself, and it's like, yeah, yeah, babe, okay, do your thing, and that was it, and then you would just be supportive. If I came to you like, oh, I don't know, and then you were the voice of reason, like, babe, just do it. What people are gonna listen, just do it. Then that's one thing. But to be like, I think it's stupid, and then you know what I mean. And the sad thing is that there's some people out there that do that are dream crushers,
And
but
yeah,
would want the same support from you if they were trying to
right.
do something.
And speaking of which, early on, I didn't want to do this live thing. Okay.
No, he
I
didn't.
was like, hey, we can just tape it and put it out. I don't want to go live, right? It took me a long time to get to this. But what I think I'm learning is that I don't think people come to the podcast to see me. I think they come here for you. And so let me explain. What
Mm-hmm.
I mean by that, you were talking about earlier about being hesitant, not doing selfies, not putting yourself out there and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that being on the lives and talking about things a little bit more deeply than we've talked about them before, especially in front of the world,
Right.
has done wonders for you, because I think you thought about it too much before, and then you realize some things within yourself now where it's like, you know what, I can talk about these things. I can be open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
be my full self. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Well,
And
and
people are
it's a
not
journey.
coming here to see me. They're coming here to see you.
I think they're here to see us
No, no.
and
Have you seen
the
yourself?
topics. Huh?
Have you seen yourself?
I don't understand.
Look at your face. Your face. You're wonderful. You're amazing and beautiful. They're
Oh,
not coming to
thank
see me. They're
you.
coming to see you.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
I bet you just black out. How can I black out? That's all right. Right there. See? But you got to change the title. That's all I'm saying.
No, I would leave it the same.
It cannot
No,
be
you have.
called "We're Gonna Have Words" if I'm
But
not
this
here.
is supposed to be like a relationship thing where we could
Hmm.
talk about the things that we've been through.
Right.
Like, hey, you just if I could save people time and heartache and just
Mhm.
misunderstanding, you know what I mean, of your spouse and whatnot, man,
Mhm.
wouldn't you? If I mean, you guys can answer in the comments if you could know what to say and how to talk to your spouse or consider the your significant other's point of view. If you knew of a better way or just to have someone to be like, hey, so I got the situation. What would you do in
Right.
that?
I
To have
mean,
somebody to bounce off of.
and there's books on everything, right? There's books on
Yeah,
if
but
you
I'm
want to.
not gonna give it to you book style though. I'm gonna give it to
Right.
you. This is how, this is real life. You
Right.
know,
But that's what I'm saying, right? Is that there's books on everything. You want to go read about,
y'all be causing
how to.
arguments. Who said that?
If you want to go figure out how to change a battery on a car, you can go read a book or YouTube or do something like that, right? If you
Yeah,
wanted to learn how to put a doorknob on a door, you can YouTube it or read a book and read the instructions, figure out how to do that.
yeah.
Okay. There's books on relationships. There's people that do very well for themselves helping people with relationships. There's a whole TV show called Couples Therapy.
Yes,
Okay.
but she's
You've seen it.
actually a therapist,
Right. But
though.
I'm saying if it were easy and simple,
Oh yeah,
these types
then
of things would not exist
right,
because it doesn't matter what somebody hands you, you're not going to know about it till you're in it.
right,
You know what I mean? Because one thing that might work for me in my relationship might not necessarily work for you in your
right.
relationship.
But at least you have somebody that is like that's been through something.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because and that's the thing. It's like I even think that our parents and our parents and went through things, and we I think
Keep going.
like okay and we didn't really get the full real. I already put that one up.
Oh, that
Um,
was a good one.
what was this one?
Mm. You didn't get the full story about what it meant to be in a relationship and how to make it work.
Yeah. So when we're doing this, you have to read the comments out because this is going to be
Oh,
audio.
sorry.
So I think, like E said, us being in the military, our delivery is sometimes off. My wife tells me that all the time. Yeah, I listening to E and she hit me. Oh, listening to E
listen,
and
listen.
listening to E and she
I'm
hit
talking
me.
about stuff that doesn't mean you're necessarily supposed to do that in your house. Some
Okay,
things are specific
so
to us and not everybody else. Uh, I
this
don't
one
want to get
here,
anybody in trouble.
he likes to provoke
Mm,
things, like be a little controversial. So he'll start things off being controversial, but that's not how he is with this. So and we do this even in front of our friends. Like he starts this little like, but this just to get the conversation started. And that's a lot of the reason why I wanted him to be a part of this podcast was because you come with a different angle than from where I come from.
mm,
So you put a little bit of the dude realness, like this is what men are thinking or might be thinking, and that was a lot of the reason why it wasn't just like, oh, be on the podcast just for me.
mm.
um but to go back to the support thing, emotional support,
Why'd you look at me like that just now?
because you got quiet.
Oh no, I was just listening.
Oh,
you
and
you like to tell me I don't listen, so I was just being quiet.
and apologies for starting arguments. We do argue though, and
We
we
do.
we just want to help to get the conversation started. Because it's like sometimes when you're like, oh wait, I didn't know saying that. Because this one here, it's bless his heart, it's okay. You're getting better, babe. Sometimes the way he says things, he doesn't mean for it to come out, and then after he says it, and I've given him a reaction, then he's like, "Whoa, backtrack. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said it like that." Because you can say things in a particular way that promotes a positive response or a negative response.
And sometimes you just got to give it to somebody raw. It might not be the exact way that you intended
No.
for it to come out,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
but no, I think there has to be space for both things in a
You
relationship.
can be honest without being hurtful.
But I don't think the intent is to be hurtful. I think the intent is to be honest, right? But as you're moving along in a relationship, you learn those things that might trigger your spouse, right? Oh, I said this thing before this way in the past, and
Yeah.
this is the response I got. I know I can't say it that way again because I'm not going to be a happy person after this, because
Well,
we're
you
going to go
could.
stray way off topic. It's going to be an argument about
Right. I mean,
different
you could
things.
use that same technique and trigger them, but then what your spouse will catch on to is that
Mhm.
you're purposely doing things to trigger them. And so then they'll stop being vulnerable with you. They'll
Mhm.
stop telling you, "Hey, this is a soft spot for me."
Mhm.
I mean, there's responsibility for both parties in that situation of being triggered or whatnot. But the keeping it 100 thing and being I'm just being honest excuse is not an excuse to be an asshole. Okay,
Mhm.
you just don't get to say whatever you want to say because you think you're being honest to your spouse. You're supposed to proceed with caution. That's your person's heart.
Do you think that the bluntness sometimes causes shutdown?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because it's like words can be very harsh. And depending on each person and whatever it is that they might be going through internally, what they told you, what they haven't told you yet, the words that you use with them could hurt them.
Mhm.
And then if you don't take caution, it's almost saying I don't care. I'm not going to pause and pay attention to the words that I use with you because I don't care if you get hurt or not. And that's important whenever you're trying to communicate what it is that you need, and then when you're trying to explain the things that you need to feel support. So, and when you do this, you have to say,
Yes.
Fonda says sometimes honesty hurts even if you don't want
I
it
think
to.
that's true.
Yes. Because here's the thing, you can say something honest that is going to hurt regardless, but your delivery can be even more painful for that person. You can choose this, okay, because it's the truth either way, but you can hand the truth over in such a way where it's just that's the truth, or you can hand the truth over in such a way where you're punching them in the lip and busting them up.
But I've said this before to you when we've been in, I don't want to say arguments, but
Yeah,
you know,
we argue.
discussions where I'm being honest about something, and you get more focused on, and I'm sure we both do it.
Mm-hmm.
We get more focused on the way you delivered it to me as opposed to the message. Right. So I think sometimes in relationships we can get in our own way because we want honesty, we expect honesty. The
Wait, you
person
think that
is
I get caught in the delivery of where I'm giving you honesty?
no. So
Or I
okay,
get caught in the delivery of what you,
of what I've said,
because
right?
and that's the problem,
Mhm.
because you didn't take caution in how you said it. I'm not even hearing what you said. I'm more bruised. I'm more concentrating on how it's making me feel versus
But
what you're
see,
trying
this
to
is the point
say.
I'm trying to make, is that I'm not trying to be hurtful towards you, but we're talking about something, or we're in the middle of a discussion or argument, and I
Mm-hmm.
say something that's truth. Okay, I'm not being mean, not being rough necessarily. I'm just telling
Necessarily.
necessarily. I'm just saying something to you that's the
Mm-mm.
truth. Okay. And within that honesty, you didn't hear the honest part of it. The only we're both guilty of this. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing you heard, or the only thing you felt, let's not even talk about what you heard. What you
Mm-hmm.
felt in that moment is that what you're saying to me, I don't like, not because of what you said, but how you said it. And so the other person then has to defend, right, themselves and say, hey, listen, I understand. I wasn't trying to be any kind of way with you. I was just trying to be honest with you about what was going on. But I think that's something that happens a lot in relationships, where the message gets missed because it doesn't mean that what I said was rude, or the way I said it was rude. It just
Mm-hmm.
means sometimes the message gets missed because the other person is in their feelings. They're already on high
Well,
and
if
on
you're in the
tilt about what
midst
they're feeling.
Yeah, well, if you're in the midst of something, it's I mean, emotions are already involved. You're already
Exactly.
concentrating
Exactly.
on how you feel and you're not actively listening.
Right.
And so that's where the communication lines get
Mhm.
crossed. So if I come to you in need of emotional support, for instance, and I'm upset now,
Mm.
I'm not going to be likely to be focused enough and what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say unemotional, but in a space where I can share what it is that I need.
Receive what it is, the message I'm trying to get across to you.
No, meaning I'm coming to you. I can't
Mm.
even. I'm upset, so I'm not even going to be able to tell you what I need
Gotcha. Okay.
without sounding condescending, without sounding emotional, without not using caution in the way that I say things. If I'm already upset, excuse me. So in those situations where emotions are already high, you're in the middle of a disagreement or an argument. It's really the wisdom to like pause, the wisdom to be like, you know what, we have to, you know, calm down and then actually have a conversation. And then if it's something that you're trying to be honest about, but you're not sure how to say it without hurting your spouse's feelings, then you can just be open and say, I want to be honest about something, but I don't want to say it in such a hurtful way. And sometimes I think people just forget that they can just say that. Like, hey, I want to talk to you about something, but I don't know exactly how to say this. And I want to proceed with caution and not hurt your feelings. And that gives that other person a chance to be like, okay, well, you want to tell me something and we can talk about it, and I know you're not trying to hurt me, versus just word vomiting. And then now it's like, now you have to explain yourself, like, why did you use that word, why did you say it in that particular way, what did you mean by that?
Right. And your spouse can then take that and extrapolate it and say, oh, you're not supporting me because every time I come to you about something, whether specifically emotional support,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're not supporting me because every time I come to you about something, you get upset, or every time I'm honest about something, you get upset. So then you start pulling back and pulling away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you're not getting exactly what it is you need out of that
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
Right, it's not
So,
productive.
right. So then that ties into later on when you're sitting by yourself and having conversations by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Oh, my
Mm.
wife is not supporting me, right?
Right.
I don't even want to go tell her this thing or share this other thing with her, this dream or this idea I have, because
She don't support me on my basic level that I
exactly.
need.
So she's not
Yeah.
going to listen to me. So
Right.
then you go inside,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
okay,
And you kind of you withdraw,
mhm,
and you're less likely to share and be vulnerable with your hopes and dreams.
right,
Um,
right,
yeah.
because you feel like, oh, you just gonna step on it anyway. So why should I even come to you and say anything to you about it?
Right.
Now, do you think that can cause problems in terms of if a spouse wants to do something that involves money,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but they're not telling the other person because they think the other person is just gonna be a dream killer, right? And they start doing stuff, making financial investments
Mm.
into things, right? Trying to hide it, or maybe hide is a
Mm.
bad word, but just
Keeping it a secret, not
keeping it to
telling,
themselves and
omitting.
not telling
Ooh, it depends on how much
what's
money
going on
too.
and what's happening in the background.
Yeah, I think this goes back to that privacy, secrets, and lies thing.
Mm,
Yeah, that's tricky. I would say no, don't do that. I
mm,
would say definitely. I mean, it requires a conversation. And then if there's already like this breakdown where you feel like, oh, he or she's gonna say no anyway, then you got to dig a little deeper now, because the root of it may be a little further than what you think it is. It's not so surface. It's not just like, oh, this person is just an overall dream crusher or killer. It could just be that there's something underlying. More than likely, it's something underlying. It's a belief they have within themselves, or a pers- perspective they have within themselves regarding the person, the dreamer, the person wanted to spend the money for the investment to do whatever it is.
because if I want to be a professional rock climber, I'm going to need special shoes and socks and cables and hooks and all these other kinds of
And
things and
insurance in
chalk
case you
and
fall off and something
all this
happens,
other kind of stuff. I'm gonna need a membership to the rock climbing place so I can get started doing all these things. But that's my dream and that's what I want to do. So I'm not telling you about it, but I'm also not asking you for anything.
Right.
I'm just going to do it because that's what I want to do. So now I'm taking
That's
time.
easy though.
Yeah, right. But
somebody would still crush that. There's somebody out there in a relationship that would still crush, even though it's not requiring much from them.
But now I'm taking time away from my spouse because I'm chasing my dream and chasing what I want to do. So how do you act when it comes to that? If you're used to having that person around and having them at your disposal all the time, now they have a dream about something they want to do that's going to require their some dedication and some time, and it's taking away from your time that you're used to having. Okay.
Well, I mean, I think there has to be an understanding that outside of, the daily goings-ons, the work, that each individual has to have their own little thing that they do. So if that's like, oh, that's their dream / hobby situation, where it's just like, oh, this is something that I do in my free time, or and I mean, there has to be some type of understanding with that. Just like, in the very near future, more of my time is going to be taken up with doing the podcast. We're very we're not sporadic on here, but my goal for the podcast is to be active every day. And I've been kind of lax with you on the routine of things. And so you guys will slowly see a pickup in activity and whatnot. Even on my personal socials, you'll see more activities. We continue. We're going to be diving into the IGTV stuff, being a little bit more present on Instagram as well, and maybe doing little snapshots of lives, like quick little conversations or whatever. Are you ready for that? We're about to be busy, honey.
So no. See, that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Is that's what you want to do, right? These are the steps that you want to take, which is going to require your time, which is fine. Okay. But
oh, thank you. See, look at this. I actually really enjoy
thank
the
you
podcast.
very much. But then
thank you. We can't see your name right now, but
the time that you're talking about putting into it, maybe I might be doing something else.
Well, yeah, but I'm not just gonna be like, hey, so Tuesday, 2 o'clock, right here, right now.
I foresee that's how that's gonna happen. So
for those that know me, know that I'm a planner and I will schedule things. I will put things on a schedule. This guy over here is Mr. I'm not in the mood for it. I wasn't planning on it. That sound familiar?
I mean,
see what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'm saying. It's a Friday afternoon. It's been a long week of work. You just want to, sit back, chill, grab you a beer, whatever, and watch a game or something. Doesn't mean that I'm not involved in your dream. It just means I want to relax right now.
I mean, I get relaxation. I get it. But 15-20 minutes of your time is nothing.
Okay, so that's the problem right there.
Somebody said, wait, Mandy, not E.
I don't know.
Wait, I really enjoyed the podcast. Mandy, not E.
Need to find out who that is so we can have a private message about that. So the thing is, person made me lose my thought.
We're talking about scheduling time.
Yes, scheduling time. So me not wanting to participate in a particular thing at that time doesn't mean that I'm still not here for you for what it is you want to do. And because it could be the other way. So let me tell y'all something about me right now.
Okay.
I was a chief in the United States Navy. I will run full head steam into something and take the shit over. You know this. So
I mean, I ain't seen it yet because I'm still doing all the things.
In this particular situation, I'm
that's good because I'm gonna teach you how to edit some video.
I'm falling back.
You're gonna be editing back here.
I'm falling back because
read that. I'm her secret lover, so you.
I'm falling back because this was your your baby, is your brainchild, right? So I didn't want to go into it where I wanted to, try to take control, or let's do it this way or do it that way or whatever, which is another thing that can happen when people have ideas and dreams about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the personality of your spouse, it might want to say, oh, okay, cool, let's do it. I'm gonna run all of this over here, and you just show up and be. You know what I'm saying?
And you think I have the personality to let you do such?
That's not what I said.
Mm.
I'm just giving you an example.
Because I'm saying you said you chief, so you could run all up in here and just
Oh
take
yeah,
over
that's for
or
sure.
whatever.
Any one of us, one of the people that watch this podcast or listen to us that I was in the military with, we all have that within us. Okay. We all have that within us where we can run into a situation, something pops up, and we can just say, hey, don't worry about it. It's under control. Done. I done laid out the plan. This will be finished real soon. All good. We all have that in us. It's not that we're trying to step on.
I get the military state of mind.
Right.
I get that.
We're not trying to step on you. We're not trying to step on what you're trying to do or the way you're trying to do it. It's just something that's ingrained in us. And as men too, right? Let's bring that in. I'm not just talking about being in the military, right? I'm talking about as men, we want to protect our wives, right? We want to say, I mean, if you about your business, right? If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, babe, I got you, right? Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be here for you. Let's go kill this thing. That's a good idea. Let's rock, right? And sometimes that can be, let me do it the way I'm telling you to do it, as opposed to
you be
let you shine.
try.
Let you shine.
He tries, y'all. He
thing.
tries to tell me what to do.
That's not true. We try to just, because we have this thing inside of us, like, this is, I'm the head of this family. As men, this is what we're thinking.
I'm the dude. I'm the dude, so I get to tell everybody what to do because I'm the dude.
This is real. This is real shit right here. This is a real game I'm putting you on with men, right? Is that if you?
I'm gonna step back and let the man talk.
Thank you very much. A real man, a real dude is going. His thought process, in my opinion, is that I'm the head of this family. Okay, it doesn't mean that you can't do what you want to do or need to do or whatever, right? But ultimately, I'm the head of this family, right? This family goes as I go. If I ain't shit, if I'm being irresponsible, right? Then that's the way things are going to go. That's the way things are going to shape if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? I have to be setting the example for my wife, for my kids, for whatever your family structure is, right? But within that, I need to make sure that that I'm here, that I got your back. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That no matter what, I'm going to be here.
And same for me.
If anything ever comes at us, anything ever goes wrong, you ain't got to worry about nothing.
Right.
I'm right here.
Right.
And I will slap anybody that come around here trying to, you know what I'm saying, mess with what we got, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what happens after that is, right, we take that and put it into everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey.
So now it's like, oh, I think I know what's best for you. So let me do it. Right.
Oh, hey, babe, we need to do something with the house, right? We need to do something with the side of the house.
Well, if you could pause for a second, I think it's that like you feel like you have a knowledge, you have an understanding of what's good, and so you want to do that, right? But the crazy thing is that from the woman's perspective, she could be thinking the same thing. Like, I'm there for you. I'm going to be there with you, with the same mentality, right, that you were just talking about from a man's point of view. But at the same time, we're also having that I have this idea of what I know what is good, so let me. So I think what happens is that, and put this glass down, inadvertently we end up bumping heads a little bit, because it's like you're saying, oh, I want to be that for you, I want to look after you, I think I know what's good for you, do this. And then I'm saying, oh, I need to do this. And so sometimes we clash in that way, both thinking the same thing though, but not necessarily verbalizing it so that we both understand where we're coming from. So sometimes that turns into like, oh, you don't trust what I'm doing, or you trying to tell me what to do.
Right. Now, we I'm just gonna say I believe the way I move, the way I operate, that I'm the head of this family. Okay, that's the way I flow. And you know that. No, you know this. This is not news. Okay, but being the head of the family, being that alpha, that lion, and say, hey, if anything comes at us, I'm gonna take care of it, right? But also making sure there's space in there for you, right? And the things that you bring to the table, to the relationship, to make sure that you can do those things, that you can rock with those things too. But that, to me, that all falls under the umbrella of being the head of the family. You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
And now, see, I don't have a problem with you thinking that you are the head of the family, or you even taking that role. The only issue that comes into play with me, not that we've had this, but is whenever you don't see me as not that you haven't, but if I ever feel as if you don't see me as your partner, as your equal, meaning while you're using these terms alpha or whatever, that also applies to females, that also applies to women, where we can have that same kind of, get her done attitude. And I know you've seen it in me sometimes, where it's just like, if if I felt like I wasn't getting the support or something that I needed, I would be in that kind of space, to be like, oh, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out and do it. And that is within me. I think that sometimes there's that fault in the male female dynamic, where it's like it's misunderstood that both people think that both cannot be leaders in the same. But it's part of being a leader, part of being an alpha female or male, that will, you know what, I'll follow your lead on this one, and then next time you'll follow my lead. You know what I mean? It's just that being able to switch back and forth and understand there's certain strengths that you have and certain strengths that I have, that we can both. I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Neo, or who did that besides Neo?
It's okay.
By myself.
We've already had the music break for this episode. That's done now.
On by myself. But baby girl, you make me better. You make me better. You make me better. You don't want to. You make me better.
So,
you make me better.
It's time to give the people back their Saturday, because we've already had the musical number for today.
No, it used to be 2 or 3 times.
No, it doesn't. So
no, I wanted to run down my little list though. Y'all, okay. I did a little research on this, and I put some notes together, some tips. Okay, bear with me. Emotional support. For me, that's like the baseline. And I think that's where we often lose that whole part when we're trying to ask for support in other areas of the relationship. Things get missed because we're missing on that emotional, specifically with women, because we are emotionally motivated. So love, reassurance, acceptance, and encouragement. We all need a little emotional intimacy, and that means listening, engaging, and giving your undivided attention to your spouse. When she's trying to talk to you, fellas, don't be in your phone looking at ESPN talking about, what was that? No. Take the time to listen. Validate your partner's feelings. What does that mean? You basically, when you sit down and you listen to your partner's feelings, you give them a sense of feeling like, oh, it's a safe space. It's a safe space for me to be vulnerable. And you're going to hear me. You're going to listen to what I'm saying, and you're not going to judge me. You're not going to criticize me. You know, that whole, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's so dismissive of another person's feelings. Don't say stuff like that. Listen to you, and however they feel is however they feel. And you show support, and if it's expressed that more emotional support is needed, that's a clear indication that you have to ask questions. I mean, for us specifically, if I got the notion that my husband needed something, then I would be like, well, wait a minute. Like, what were we talking about? Father's Day, Mother's Day. And, Mother's Day, mothers get all the shine. That to me in my listening ear was like, oh, what am I not doing to make you feel supported as one, the father of our child, right? And then as my husband. So I got on this like, well, what is it that you need? Is there something I'm not providing? And I think that maybe 10 years ago I might not have asked. I might have just been offended by he even saying it, and I'd have been butthurt instead of being like, whoa, wait, this is a conversation. This is an all stop, because I need to know. I need to find out what it is that you need from me that I'm not currently giving you. Let's see what else I have here. Oh yeah, showing support in tangible ways like touch, but not necessarily sex. Giving support publicly. I was listening to another podcast, right? And I believe it was the Love Hour. And yes, it was. And Kev on Stage was a nominated NAACP award nominee, and his wife, Miss Kev on Stage, was like that he stood up and said that he basically gave her props for all the things that she was doing in order to support him. And she was like, you've said it before, but you saying that then just made me feel like I was hearing it for the first time. And I was thinking to myself, because I had already done my research, that, oh, it's because it was public. It's like for us to be like one thing, he said to me before, but like at his retirement ceremony, he said it again. I was like, cry, because it's just more impactful that way. Oh, and most of all, communicate and be vulnerable to let the other know what it is that you need.
Cool. Take us home, baby. Close us out.
I mean that tangible way though is also in gifts.
Well, sometimes I want my gifts another way. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us for the podcast.
We should bring on a guest. Yeah, I mean, we hope to at some point. I mean, if y'all watching, y'all have some suggestions, we're open to it.
I do have some ideas about doing a couples podcast.
And bringing on some other couples so we can talk about. Yeah.
Talk about some stuff like that. That is definitely something we are thinking about doing.
All right, and we have No Man Will Be Vulnerable. That's interesting.
That's another podcast.
Yes, it is. It is another podcast.
Let's give the good people their Saturday evening back. Thank y'all so much for joining us.
Yes, of course, you'll find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter from time to time. Excuse me. Yeah, you guys like this and share it. If you're in the group, you probably can't share it, but if you go on our page, you surely can share it from there. And also hit us up on Instagram, trying to get a little bit more activity on there. And of course, with your feedback, your questions, your topic ideas, just hit us up. Thank you for watching. Thank you. We appreciate y'all for hanging in there with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now. Till next time, guys. Be good.
Be good, everybody.